Evening, everyone. It's 6:22 p.m. on the 28th, and I guess it's Wednesday. Kind of gets lost in these short weeks. In any event, in case you didn't notice, I'm not doing a daily note this week. If anything overwhelming happens, I'll write about it, but otherwise, you'll have to get your information from the pre open and closing comments. Okay, so this morning we looked like we might open a little higher, and in fact, we did. But then around 10 o'clock, the pending home sales came out, and it was a huge, huge miss. Took the market down, and it only got worse all day. There were a couple of outstanding names. For example, after only 7 days in a row and a 72% decline, Tesla was actually up $4 today. I mentioned that. This morning, I also mentioned Kala, Kala, which is a pharma company. It was trading at 620, up $2.28, so about 60%. It continued on through the day, no real news, with the exception of, as I mentioned this morning, the fact that they reverse split the stock 1 for 50, so there's not a lot of float around. It managed to close at 1598, up 1206, a whopping 309%. I also mentioned LG, LJAQ, um, which this morning, it had closed at 9.5 the day before yesterday. Then yesterday it got as high as 42.25, and then closed up 100% at 19. Today it continued to sell off, and the close there was $11.17, down $7.83. If you recall, I pointed out that this is another plant-based company. Like the other ones that we have are so successful that there's plenty of room. And so I'm not surprised to see it lower. And in point of fact, I will mention again the biggest name in that group, which is Beyond Meat, which in August traded as high as 44 and change, closed today $11. In point of fact, it traded as high as 221 on January 26th of last year. So basically 1 year, 221 to 11. Really not outstanding. Um, Boeing closed down 90 cents, which also doesn't surprise me because the Dow was actually 29 down and JP Morgan up. What was interesting was that there really weren't any huge losers. The biggest loser was Apple, making a new 52-week low again today, second day in a row, and it paired $26 off the Dow. Uh, that is Dow points. In terms of actual move, the last is 126.20, down $3.83, or just under 3%. Home Depot and Caterpillar both paired 25 off it. UNH 24, and as I said, JP Morgan was the only one higher, and it added 5 Dow points. Really not too much outstanding when you go 29 and 1. And of course, the big news is that Southwest Airlines absolutely cannot get a hold of what it takes to run an airline. Um, I say that with a great deal of hesitancy because it really has been an outperformer for the last 25 years. But in the last 2.5 weeks, it's gone from 40 to 32 and a quarter today's close, down another $1.70 or 5%. But that's a 2 week move from 40 to 32. That's pretty easy to figure out at 20%. So really not great. Dow was down 365 or 1.1. The Nasdaq was down about 140, $46 in the S&P, $28 or 1.57 in the Russell, and the biggest loser of the day was the transports, down 231.95, 1.71. What was interesting was the fact that the VIX closed 2214, and that's really an awful complacent reading on a day where none of the indexes were down less than a percent. So, kind of a surprise there. As far as the futures went, oil was slightly lower, down 57 cents. The gold, which was up back above 1840, closed at 1815.80, down 730. The silver was down 38 cents at 23.84, so that's about 1.5%. Nat gas was another huge loser today, 419, down 29. Dennis seems to think that we may have a new low day, and in point of fact, I added to my Boyle position today. Um, I have I owned it around 24 or 25, but I've written against it 3 times. So down here at let's see, down here at 19 and 1945, um, I'm about break even, but I paid 1904, I think, for the second piece of the position. Dollar was slightly higher, bonds were slightly lower, and Bitcoin was down a big $25. So really nothing exceptional. The grains were pretty much up across the board. As I said, the oil was down. It's down another 33 cents tonight. Heating oil down about 2 cents. Gasoline down about a penny and a third. Nat gas is up 5.5 cents. Gold is down another 3.50, another 13 cents for the silver. Copper unchanged to down a penny. The S&P futures, Nasdaq, and Dow are all up in a very minimal way. The dollar has not reopened. Bitcoin is down another 80. Ethereum down 9.5, and the bonds are up 3/32. So pretty quiet, very boring. Um, Really, not a whole lot to write or talk about. So tomorrow is Thursday. Thursday, as you know, is claims day, so we'll get those numbers. We also should be getting the AEI net gas inventories, supposed to be a draw, and we'll see if that actually comes through. And I will be back first thing in the morning to give you an idea of what it is that we're looking for. All right, have a good day, and I hope tomorrow is better. We're running out of days here for the Santa Claus rally. Now we are solidly in the red, but as I said yesterday, it doesn't have to all be in one day, and it's for a 7 trading day period. Also, just a reminder um, to take tax losses against your ordinary income, against any profits you have. And there you go. I'll be back first